Right guys, well, as you can hear I'm out of breath a little bit, so that tells you I'm going uphill, and we're off for a jolly wee bimbo today. Nothing too major. What I've decided to do is just stay local this week, and the plan today is we're hiking up about 6.5 miles, and we're going to climb up a hill called Meikle, and it's right in the heart of the Cairn Valley amongst the Campsie Fell range of hills. It's nothing major, it's I think it's 1,870 feet, but it's something I've always wanted to do. I've wild camped hundreds and hundreds of times on my own, but I've never done it on top of a hill or a mountain, so I thought I'd try this out as a trial run, so to speak, before I go into a bigger mountain. So it's nothing major, it's a decent day. As you can see, sun's out just now, temperature's not too bad and there's no wind, so I've left it to a bit later in the day, about 1 o'clock, and it's only 2-3 hours to get up there, you know. And my plan is let all the other hikers and hill walkers get up there and leave, so I'm not annoying them by putting a tent up. And I'll set the tent up, see the sun go down, have a good night's sleep, and hopefully there's not a big storm or anything. And after that we'll get up in the morning and head back down. Most of the way up to the top of the hill is just through Forestry track, and then it sort of clears at the end when you start climbing up onto the hill itself. But you're kind of walking alongside a big giant reservoir, the Cairn Valley Reservoir that's been put in there, so you get odd glimpses of it, which isn't bad, and I should be able to see it from the top of the hillside, which would be quite cool. Some decent views, although what usually happens is you get up there and the mist and the cloud just comes right down and you see nothing, but hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. It's a hill I've done years ago with Kirsty, so I know the way to it, and I know I should be able to camp up there. There's some wee bits, if it does get windy I can hide away and get some shelter. But one of the ones I want to check out when we go up there is there's sort of wreckage from an old air crash. I think it was in 1950. There was a 2-seater Royal Navy Fleet Air Arm recon plane. I think it was called a Firefly. It tried to land and it was like radio wasn't working, and there was kind of low cloud cover, so I had to kind of push on, and they obviously don't know what happened, but a few days later they found the wreckage in the top of Meikle. I believe there's still some of it up there, but we'll see if we can find it later on once we're on the hill itself, once I get the tent up. But I believe most of the fuselage and the wreckage itself was taken away and is in a museum down in Yorkshire now, so that's not so bad. Oh, wee dog going by. But hopefully there's some footage up there we can get of it, you know. How you doing? I believe when the plane crashed that it was carrying 2 pilots, a Lieutenant John Smith I think it is, and John Robertson. I might be wrong with that, but I'll put it on the screen if I am. And they both unfortunately lost their lives on it, so nothing to be too gleeful about, but we'll see if we can find the footage when we're up there anyway. It's always interesting when you can get a bit of backstory to a place you're hiking into. But we'll just push on for now, walking along the reservoir you get little glimpses of it. I say, I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera, yeah. But it's mostly this kind of track for the next like 4 miles. Then it opens up into the hillside. Then it's more climbing. I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel, downhill hiking. It sounds like a good idea to me, but every hike I seem to go on is always uphill in this country, but the views are always worth it after that, so that's good. Last time I climbed this hill, maybe a couple of years ago, the whole way up you were just hemmed in with the fir trees like we've got to the side behind me. It's amazing the passage of time and the difference to the landscape when the forestry companies come in and clear the wood. You can see it behind me. Just very barren. As far as you can see. I know they've got to do it as well, but it really scars the landscape, doesn't it? Hopefully our children in 20-30 years time come up here. It's a nice natural woodland. I know a lot of the time that's what they do though. Rather than jam pack the fir trees in, they make an effort nowadays to put a bit of space in it so it's not a dead wood. They put birch and Scots pine and other alder in. It's a wee bit prettier to look at, isn't it? But anyway, onwards up the hill. I suppose it gives me a little breeze to cool me down. I think we're getting to the stage where the jacket will be coming off. And when I drove over here today, it was, I think it was -2 in the van thermometer on the display, and the sun was shining. It was so beautiful. A bit cold, but I thought, oh, I've struck it lucky here, camping on top of a hill. I'm just going to have great views everywhere. But as soon as you start walking, I can see in the distance the cloud covers came right down. And I thought I got a glimpse of the peak there earlier on, and it was like under the cloud cover, so I'll have a decision to make whether to see if it clears or I camp just further down a little knoll where I can actually get some views of things. But we'll make that decision once we get up the hill itself. Onwards. That's us, came out the Forestry section, and we're just making the final climb up to the start of the hill, and then we can start climbing up after that. You always notice when you start off from the car park, it's a lovely day, there's no wind whatsoever. Then the minute you come out of that forest section, you just feel the wind on you. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. I'll check the wind speed later on just to see that the tent will be okay. But on we go. Oh, loving it. That's us on the long climb of the hill. It's not that long actually. As I said earlier on, you often set off with these plans and nature's other ideas. There wasn't a bit of wind at all this morning. Just lovely sun, high visibility. And now, the minute I started climbing the hill, there was big gusts. I've got a wee wind meter with me, I was checking. It's kind of 30 mile an hour. And the visibility as I'm going up isn't very good, so it's about the back of 2 just now. It's dark after 5. It seems a bit windy to camp right up in the summit. I don't know if I turn you around, you can see it's just mist I'm about to enter into. So unless I can get in the leeward side of the hill, I've got my tent and a bivvy bag, but it may well be sometimes what happens come evening time, the wind dies down. Not always, especially in Scotland, but I'll go up to the summit anyway and we'll make a decision then. And if it comes to, I can come down into a tree line, try and find a bit of shelter and see what happens, which would be a pity. But you've got to make sure, don't dig over this bog, you've got to make sure that you don't get that summit fever thing going, where you get an idea in your head, no matter what you're going to do it. You just got to stand back for a few seconds and think carefully and make a decision. And if it's too windy or too misty, you just got to be safe and come back down a bit. Make sure you're okay, your tent doesn't blow down in the middle of the night. But we'll push on just now. As you can see, it's not great views I'm going into, but we'll push on for now anyway. Well, I think this is me near the top and summit. I'm getting the odd glimpses of wind, blows the cloud cover away, but not much of a view as you can see, unfortunately. But my hope is later on or tomorrow morning it clears and I can enjoy the views from it. But nearly there, I think, unless it's one of these tricky trickster summits that you get up to and then you look into the distance and there's another 4 of them and you do them and then there's another 3. But I think this is us coming up the last bit. So nearly there. Then it's time to make a decision. Kind of looks a bit steep off there. over that way is the leeward side away from the wind, so we'll maybe hang around a wee while behind the trig stone and make a decision. Yeah, I see a trig stone. Seems to be clearing a little bit. Maybe that's a sign. Made it. Now just to find somewhere to sleep for the night up here. It's a bit windy. It's actually behind me here, I don't know if you can see, it's actually starting to clear a little bit, a little glimpse. I can see a little bit of the reservoir and the wind farm over in the distance, but it's now disappeared again. So we'll chill out for 5 minutes and then I'll have a wee explore and see. The summit's quite a conical kind of separate entity itself, so you're either on top, I think, or you've got to go down to one of the lower levels. And it seems a bit of a drop off to the side that's out of the wind, so I've got a bit of a decision to make. Oh, camera falling over. So I think I'll put this away before it blows over the side of the hill. How are you doing? Welcome to a slightly windy summit of Meikle. I'm just trying to make a decision. It feels awful windy, but I've bought one of these devices that measure the wind for you, and you can see there, if I come up, I don't know if you can, it's kind of 25 mile an hour just now, but gusting up to kind of 27, 28, and then it seems to calm down for a minute and then start up again. So my plan of the leeward sides is just far too steep, so it's either a case of, I've got 3 choices. I'm either going to risk it and put the tent up in the summit, maybe leave it a while to see if it's going to die down, or I head right back down the hill to the tree line and try and find a place sheltered further down. Kind of spoils my plan of camping up the top of a hillside, but that's life. Or the other side of the hill from my climbed, there's a path goes down, and about 10 minutes ago, oh, it's a bite cold wind. I've taken my gloves off to use the camera here, but there's a kind of hillock down there somewhere. I don't think you can see it just now for the mist up there, it's clearing. So I'm thinking I might be able to go down and explore that and see if there's a wee spot that gives me a bit more shelter, and if the wind suddenly dies away I can make the decision to back up the hill there. You're seeing it there. It shows you how strong the wind is. It's sort of total cloud cover, then it's just clearing after that. But I'll take a wee walk down and check out. I mean, look at that. A minute ago I was talking to you and it was total cloud cover, couldn't see a thing, and I've turned round and now look the way we came. Absolutely stunning. But it just shows you how strong the winds are. Yeah, if I turn that way, you'll see it's just total cloud cover. So it is a bit strong, so I don't think I'll put my tent up just now. I'll go down and check that hillock out and see what it's like down there. Because when I went down slightly down the side there, the wind just stopped straight away. Decisions, eh? Right, I'll let you go for now and I'm going to go down and check this hillock. Well, I came down from the summit there. It's amazing the difference just coming down that, 40-50 feet and having a wee bit of shelter. So I checked that hillock out and it's actually quite good. There's a couple of flat bits and it's half the wind. But the problem is you're then kind of in a gully. You're just looking at moorland. Nowhere else to look at the tent with that view. So I've came over this direction where I can move the camera, and I'm hoping there's a wee flat bit over there, and then I've got a nice view of the Carn Valley Reservoir, and hopefully be out of the wind as well and dry, because I'm kind of walking, you can see it's all the big sphagnum moss, so you've got to watch you're not camping in a bog as well. You've just got to be careful in Scotland. It's like they always say, if you don't like the weather, just wait 2 minutes, and that's so true. You can be clear 1 second, then the wind just picks up again, you know. So this area is a little bit kind of full of sphagnum moss, but I'm hoping there's a couple of wee trees here. I'm hoping just to maybe find a wee flat section there, or further down the hill there's a little flat bit there. Hopefully we'll see if we can get a wee bit, but for now I'll just sit in the backpack and chill out for a wee bit and see what I'm going to do. Well, I think my decision's made, guys. I came down the hillside there. I found this nice wee spot. It's not exactly flat, but it's sphagnum moss, but it's not saturated. So I've got a couple of trees behind me here, and I'm just looking at the view, and I'm thinking definitely the spot to put the tent up in. I think I'll do that rather than just a bivvy bag, a bit more comfortable if it is windy and we get a bit of rain. I was kind of laughing because I never checked the weather. It was just so beautiful when I left this morning there and sat down, just about to have a nice Yorkie bar of chocolate before I make any decisions. And I looked at my phone, and the first thing that came up, I don't know if I can see it, I'll put that there, Carn Bridge, yellow wind warning. So there we go. I think that's a decision made. I can hear it still really windy up the top of the hill, but I'm totally out of the wind where I am just now, and I've still got a nice view here. It's not too bad at all. So I think I'll have my wee bar of chocolate and settle down and get the tent set up shortly.
You ever wonder if days like these last with one another, with the feeling pass? Would you find out with me if it all starts to crumble? We'll search the pieces.
Well, that's me all set up now in the tent. It's about 4:30 just now, 4 o'clock, 4:30, something like that. Hands are absolutely freezing. I was camping out in the snow last week, and it was like -5 at times, and I was a lot warmer. Yeah, it's meant to be like 1 or 2 degrees up here, but just with the wind chill, I was showing you earlier on, I've got that kind of wind meter thing, and it was only showing 25-30 mile an hour winds, but it's a biting cold wind with it, you know. So we're all set up in the tent anyway, and I'm just got my sleeping bag out there, and you can see my new Sea to Summit Spark 3 sleeping bag. It's a very kind of ultra light one, but apparently it goes down to -8, but we'll believe that. It doesn't look it just now, but all these kind of sleeping bags take like a good sort of 20 minutes to start letting the feathers get lofted up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm set up, and before it gets dark, I'm actually going to go back up to the summit, and then I'm going to go down the other side, and I think I know where the the plane crash from the 1950s was, so I'm going to go and see if I can spot some of the wreckage there. So catch you over there if we manage to find anything. Not a bad wee sight from the tent. Bit of a hill, but we've got great views. Looking over to the reservoir. This is climb back to the summit. It's absolutely freezing in the wind chill. See, kind of just behind me there. Sun's starting to go down, maybe in about 20 minutes. That's absolutely stunning. Oh, I'll show you where I am. I'm up in the summit just now. See if I can point out where I am. It's just down the hill here. Just over here. I've got the tent right behind it. So quite cool. Anyway, let's move on. See if we can find this train wreckage or what's left of it. Oh my god, it's so cold. So glad I'm not up the summit. Semi-sheltered over there. Well, head down the other side of the hill and see if we find that wreckage. Oh. Right guys, back at the tent. I think it's 4:45, so I've got about 15-20 minutes light left. So I'm just, while it's light, I'm going to get something on to eat. And this week we're having some tikka masala, kaling tikka masala. And after last week's food where I didn't realise it was vegan, we've got the full buna today. So we'll get some water on for that and we'll get a little stove set up. I forgot my little jet lighter, so hopefully I can get the meth burner kind of done with this. It's a difficulty of where I am as well, trying to get a flat bit to set up the little meth burner and not set the whole hillside on fire as well. But I'm looking forward to this. That was really cold up in the summit. You forget how cold the wind chill can be. We'll get a nice wee heat from this as well. Just got to make sure that nothing goes on fire beside it either. And we'll just stick enough water on for a wee hot brew and the bag meal. The secret's to put in too much water because you'll just have to heat it all up anyway and you're just wasting meths. Although to be honest, I put far too much in there because I'm I'm more thinking about using it as a heat source than anything else. Who cares about the cost of it? Right. Hopefully that doesn't fall over anyway. I'm more worried about setting all this moss on fire, but I don't really have an option. I've got to sort of bash it out if it catches. It's all damp enough, so although you'll see some of it just catching fire for a second or two, that's all it'll do, you know. In theory. So I'll let you go just now so I can concentrate on this. That's a better idea anyway. Sticking the little windshield round it just stops the flames jumping up and catching fire to the moss. Oh, it's nice to get out of the wind. I'm enjoying this view. It's just always a pity. The good thing about camping in winter, this wild camping, is you get everywhere to yourself because no one else is idiotic enough to go out in conditions. The downside is that it gets dark 4 or 5 o'clock, so you're not really getting a lot of daylight to enjoy the view. But the solitude's just lovely. It's almost as if there's no wind here where I am just now. Just a kind of small breeze just hitting the tent every so often, but the minute you go up that hill, it's just crazy. I think the clue is the fact that my view that I'm looking at is like hundreds of wind turbines and stuff like that. It's maybe a clue that this is quite a windy area. One day I'll learn, but it's all fun. Some of these bag meals taste okay. The old-fashioned ones years ago, you could take 1 or 2 of them occasionally, but they were full of preservatives and salt, and you just get sick of them very quickly. These are quite tasty, but I will admit, when you look into them, they don't look so appealing before you put water into them, you know. But when you're cold, anything that's warm is just a bonus. I like to try and break it up and mix it from the bottom so that when you pour the water in, you're not far away. There we are, that's a stove boiling away there. This is a fantastic pot I've got as well. It's a Japanese company called Avenue, and you can see here as I pour it, it's a pasta pot, so it's got little holes at the top that allow you to kind of pour stuff out. So if you've got noodles or anything like that, it's really good for that. You can drain the water out of them, you know. Yeah, it's just a case of giving it a good stir and setting it to the side for about 8 minutes, and then everyone should have rehydrated again. I'm getting a bit smoked in here. While that's sat there, you can pour your water into your tea or coffee or whatever drink you're going to have, and you can enjoy that, and by the time you've finished it, you've got a nice chicken tikka bag meal ready to put some warmth in you. It's just a case of sealing it up and sticking it to the side until it rehydrates. That'll stay warm in the bag anyway. Look at years of experience, just enough water left over after your bag meal and your coffee, so you can wash out your cup. You obviously eat your bag meal out of the bag, so you don't have a dirty pot either. And a bit of heat from the wee stove is nice. It's a bonus. The good thing about the bag meals is when I was camping in the snow last week as well, and it was freezing cold, I think it was -5 at night. What I did is I actually sealed up the Ziploc in the ready meal bag and put it into my sleeping bag and put the heat into that. So it's about using things multi-purpose. I'll turn the camera off for now so I can enjoy my dinner, and I'll catch you later on. Not a bad wee view to go to sleep to. So you can see there in the distance, I don't know if you can pick it up in the camera, but you've got the bright lights directly in the middle of the screen there. That's the town of Stirling and Stirling Castle, just to the right of the reservoir in the distance. Then if I take you out the tent, you can see the sun going down, and that's the way over to Livingston and Edinburgh, over to that way. Quite happy with my choice tonight. Morning. It's about 4:45 in the morning. It's rather windy. I'm rather glad I didn't sort of put the tent on the top of the summit. The tent seems to be holding up quite well, but I think the wind direction changed. It's coming in from a different bit, so I'm not quite as sheltered as I was with the wind yesterday, but you can see it's rattling away the tent. So hopefully it makes it till daylight anyway, you know. Never mind. Don't know if you can hear me through this wind. It's about 6 o'clock now, and I've been awake since about the back of 4, I think it was. The wind really picked up there, you know. I'm so glad I pitched the tent just behind these 2 small trees on the hillside, and I didn't camp on the summit. So the plan's just to kind of sit out a little bit. I was hoping to sort of wait for some daylight, but I was checking the weather there, and if anything the wind's going to pick up, so I'm just going to time it where I'll maybe give it another half an hour, 40 minutes if the tent still stands, and then I'm going to try and hike out, put the tent away. I've kind of semi-packed everything up already, just apart from the sleeping bag, and I've got myself dressed and I'm back into the sleeping bag just in case the tent came down, you know. It stood up really well. The only thing that happened was the front of the tent, the pegs all flew out and I lost one of them, couldn't see it anywhere. So part of the tent's now kept down with a big bright orange plastic spoon for the bag meals. It's been working for about an hour now, so it's doing its job. But I'm not looking forward to get back out, hike out. I've obviously camped out on the far side of the summit because there's a little bit of shelter here, although it doesn't feel like it just now. and I'm going to have to climb back up to the summit and go back down the other side, so that should be fun anyway. I know for sure anyway I won't be putting the drone up to fly today. But I'll give it another half an hour and stuff like that, so there's but it won't be light, but you'll get that kind of early morning sort of light coming in. And I'll just try and time it right, and I'll just stuff the tent into the bag and get out as quick as I can. But we'll see you down the other side or up in the summit. We'll see how windy that is up there later. Welcome to a very, very windy summer week in. I've had to crawl to the trig point behind these, but I'm nearly over the other side. So far too windy to record anything. So I'll say goodbye for now. Hopefully I make it down. When you see the video, I've made it down. If not, remember give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next episode.